Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to dive into one of life's most challenging questions, and we're going to do it through a really powerful story about love, duty, and that painful space where the two can sometimes collide. It's a story that really makes you ask, what does it actually mean to care for someone? I mean, that's a universal question, right? It's at the very heart of so many family relationships, and we're going to explore it through a story that completely flips the idea of devotion on its head. So, the mind behind this incredible tale is Anita Desai. She's a writer who is just a master at exploring that friction between generations, between old traditions and new ways. And knowing that is really key to understanding the tensions that are about to play out. Okay, so this is where our story kicks off. We're introduced to a son who isn't a rebel or a disappointment. No, he's the exact opposite. He seems to be the perfect, ideal, devoted son. So meet Rakesh, and let me tell you, this guy is, by all accounts, every parent's dream come true. He's not just smart, he's #1 in the country. He goes to America, gets this amazing education, but then he comes back home to honor his roots. He becomes a rich, successful doctor, and he even marries the girl his mom picked out for him. I mean, he checks every single box. Now, this gesture, touching an elder's feet, that's a huge sign of respect in India. And his father, Varma, he is just bursting with pride. He tells this story to everyone, not just about his son's success, but about his humility. In his dad's eyes, Rakesh is absolutely perfect. But you know how life is. Things change. And as they do, the very nature of Rakesh's so-called perfect devotion starts to shift in a way that is subtle at first, but incredibly important. And here's the turning point. Varma, the proud father, loses his wife and his career all at once. He enters this new, much more vulnerable stage of life, and his health starts to decline. This is where the entire power dynamic in the family is about to get flipped upside down. And this is the critical shift. Rakesh, the devoted son, basically puts on his white coat at home. His identity as this brilliant doctor starts to completely take over his identity as a son, and his sense of duty, well, it becomes cold, clinical, and rigid. Now, here's where it gets really, really interesting. We see how one person's sincere idea of care can become another person's living nightmare. This is where the worlds of the father and the son start to just collide. Just look at this. You can almost feel what Varma is feeling. From his point of view, all of Rakesh's medical treatments, they aren't acts of love. They feel like an attack on his freedom, on who he is, and on the last few simple joys he has left in the world. This chart just lays out the conflict perfectly. On one side, you have Rakesh, the doctor, totally focused on prolonging life no matter the cost, no matter the quality. And on the other side, you have Varma, the father, who just wants to enjoy his final days with simple pleasures. The son's love, his medical doctrine, is in direct opposition to his father's freedom. And Varma's private suffering starts to become public. Even his neighbor is shocked by the strict diet. That simple question, how does he expect his father to live? It just highlights this huge gap between Rakesh's clinical definition of care and the actual human experience of it. So this conflict, it doesn't just simmer, it absolutely boils over. What started as a difference in opinion escalates until that sacred bond between a father and his once perfect son is pushed right to the breaking point. Rakesh's devotion becomes this 4-step prescription for torment. First, all the foods he loves are forbidden. Then actual food is replaced by pills and tonics. After that, his dignity is stripped away through humiliating procedures, and finally, his desperate pleas to just be left alone are totally ignored. And this routine leads to an absolutely soul-crushing plea from Varma. He's not asking for sweets anymore. He is begging to die. In his eyes, his son's care isn't saving his life. It's just getting in the way of a peaceful death. You know, the tragic end of this story really makes you hit pause and think. What is devotion really? Is it just about following a set of rules and doing your duty? Or is it something more? This table just perfectly sums up the disconnect. For Rakesh, devotion is a duty, a checklist of medical protocols to follow perfectly. But for Varma, true devotion would have been empathy. It would have been respect for his wishes, for his freedom. It's like they were speaking two completely different languages of love. And that brings us to the ultimate irony of the title. See, Rakesh never stops being a devoted son, not for a single second.
But his rigid, clinical, unfeeling version of devotion becomes the very thing that tortures his father. It just goes to show you that real devotion has to be about more than just duty. It needs compassion.
And that's the powerful question this story leaves us with. It's a question that goes way beyond this one family and asks us to look at our own lives, our own relationships. In our quest to do what we think is best for the people we love, are we actually stopping to listen and honoring the life they truly want for themselves?